So, hey, welcome to the Success Achievers Club, where we help direct sellers and online social sellers level up on their online strategies. I'm Lynn Huber,
And I'm Richard.
and this is Richard. So, I want to welcome you. Let me get my PowerPoint going here. Okay, so I want to welcome you to week 3. Let's start by taking a deep breath. Let your body arrive before your brain starts trying to figure it all out. You're not here to perform, you're here to expand. So far, you've created space, you've remembered your worth. And so now we're going to enter into the part of the journey that many people skip, but it's actually the one that changes everything. And then that's capacity. So, because the truth is, receiving more is not the hardest part of abundance, holding it is. And here's where a lot of people get stuck, not because they aren't ready in terms of strategy, but because their nervous system doesn't feel safe with success. It's not that you don't know how to go bigger, it's that your body doesn't know what it means to feel safe there. And so it sabotages, it shrinks, it overcomplicates. It goes back to what's familiar, even if it's no longer aligned. That's not a mindset issue, it's a capacity issue, and it lives in the body. So today is about starting to shift that. So let's start with a question. So, what are you currently holding in your business life or in your relationships that feels heavy, not because it's wrong, but because your system hasn't caught up to it yet? Maybe it's visibility, or maybe it's more clients, or more income, or more love, or more responsibility. Write it down or drop it in the chat. I'm going to give you just a minute to do that. So I know Pat just came in. Hi, Pat. So you're going to write down where you feel like what you're currently holding in your business life or your relationships, that feels heavy, that maybe feels like it's stretching you, right? And it could be more visibility, it could be more clients, more income, more love, more responsibility. So that's the feeling we're going to unpack and repattern today. Not to get rid of it, but to show your system that it's safe to expand without spiraling. Because here's the real truth, you don't need a new strategy to hold more. You need a new internal baseline that makes expansion feel safe. And that's exactly where we're going next. So let's begin by anchoring into this truth. You don't expand through hustle, you expand through safety. The nervous system is a gateway to everything you want to receive because no matter how much your mind says, I want more, the body gets the final say. And if your body doesn't feel safe holding more visibility or more income or more support or more rest, it will quietly start to contract. Not because you're broken, but because your system is trying to protect you. And so, this is what I mean when I say capacity is greater than strategy. You can have the most perfect plan in the world, but if your nervous system doesn't feel safe with what that plan leads to, it will sabotage it every time. It's sort of like a thermostat, right? If you have that thermostat set at 70, then every time the temperature goes below that or above that, the furnace or the air conditioner is going to turn on and take it right back to the 70, right? It's the same with your capacity. And if it will hold you back if you don't raise or expand what your body feels safe with. So let's define this clearly. Capacity is your system's ability to hold more without self abandoning or shrinking or overcompensating. It's not about pushing harder or building more systems or tolerating more chaos. It's more about staying regulated in expansion or feeling safe in visibility or letting love and money come in without guilt or resting without losing your sense of self. So ask yourself this: where in my life or my business do I currently feel like I'm bumping up against my edge? Not because the work is hard, but because my system is maxed out. So go ahead and write it in your journal or feel free to type it in the chat if you feel comfortable. I'll give you just a minute to do that. Okay, so that's where your capacity work begins, not with a better schedule, but with a more resourced body. You've likely been taught that to grow, you just need a better plan or more content or a new funnel or a perfect offer, right? But here's the pattern I see over and over. A woman sets a big goal. And this could be a man too, but mostly we have women on the call. But anyway, she executes it perfectly. Then she either burns out or she finds a way to sabotage the result, and she doesn't even know she's doing it. Why? Because the result didn't feel safe in her system. She never anchored her capacity to hold what she was calling in. She didn't feel safe with that success or rest or being seen in a bigger way. And so she shrinks, not because she's lazy, but because her nervous system was overloaded. So capacity isn't built in hustle, it's built in moments of micro trust. It looks like taking a pause before you respond, letting ease be enough, even when you could push harder, receiving praise without deflecting it, allowing money to come in without immediately assigning it a task, resting without guilt, letting yourself be seen and stay seen without having to rush to prove yourself. Expansion doesn't require you to perform, it requires you to stay present in the stretch, to stay anchored in visibility, to stay regulated in the moment of more. That's where capacity is built. So let's take this deeper and name 4 places where most women unconsciously resist expansion because of safety. So the first one is visibility. So being more visible can trigger fear, fear of judgment or rejection or being misunderstood. You unconsciously start hiding, posting less, softening your voice, playing small in your message. So ask yourself, what part of being seen still feels unsafe to my system? The next one is rest. Rest often triggers guilt because it's not productive. You've been taught that stillness is laziness and that momentum is earned. So ask yourself, what am I afraid will happen if I slow down? And the third one, success. Success can be destabilizing if you don't feel safe receiving it. It may trigger fear of losing it or being isolated or being too much for others. So ask yourself, what feels risky about getting what I actually want? Then the last one is love and support. So letting people in requires a capacity for trust and softness. If you've been conditioned to go it alone, receiving help can feel vulnerable or unsafe. So ask yourself, what kind of support do I secretly want, but I still feel resistance to receiving? Think about these 4 places where you might have expansion triggers. Think about them, write them in your journal. If you want to, go ahead and put it in the chat. Love to see what you've got. Okay, so capacity isn't created in the big leaps, it's built in the quiet moments. So let's clear up a myth. So capacity is not about doing more, it's how you relate to more. You build capacity when you let your nervous system feel one layer safer with rest, or you hold a boundary without over-explaining, or you sit in the discomfort of expansion without abandoning yourself, or you receive something good without numbing it or rushing it or disqualifying it. Make space for joy or pleasure without apologizing for it. That's what this week is about. It's not a to-do list, it's a repatterning. A moment to moment remembering that your body can be trusted to lead if you give it permission to feel safe there. So let's land here. You do not need to fix yourself to hold more. You simply need to support the version of you that's already expanding. And so think this, my body is safe to receive more. My energy is strong enough to hold it. I don't need to hustle to deserve it. I only need to stay with it. So I'm going to say those again, okay? So my body is safe to receive more. My energy is strong enough to hold it. I don't need to hustle to deserve it. I only need to stay with it. So let's take that into our somatic practice and reset ritual. So your system doesn't just know this, it feels it. Okay, so let's move into today's reset. This isn't about adding anything to your plate. It's about helping your body feel safe with what's already there. So, because if your nervous system doesn't feel safe holding more, it will find a way to release it. So, today we're going to gently show your body you can hold more ease, more visibility, more income, more joy, more support, and you don't have to abandon yourself to do it. So grab your worksheet or your journal and let's begin by mapping your current edge, okay? So write down the answers to these two questions and feel free to share it in the chat if you're comfortable. So the first one is, where in your life or business are you currently experiencing more? This could be more clients, more growth, more pressure, more love, more possibility. Those are all good things, right? Where are you experiencing more in your life? Write down what feels a lot about this right now. So are you feeling more, but you're uncomfortable around it? What about that feels like a lot? And then number two, what part of that more feels good, but also feels slightly unsafe or overwhelming or edgy? Where are you simultaneously desiring something and resisting it? So here's some examples. I want to be more visible, but I also want to hide. And to go along with that one, I want to do live videos, but I'm afraid of what people will think of me. Or I want higher income, but I don't trust myself to hold it. Or I want more support, but I don't know how to ask. So think about those things. Write down the answers to these questions in the slide here. Write them down. And then circle one of those experiences that feels most activated for you right now. That's where we'll do the reset. Okay, so go ahead, close your eyes or soften your gaze. Place one hand on your heart and the other one on your belly. Bring your awareness into more that you're holding, the expansion, the edge, the desire. Now locate the resistance. Where does it live in your body? Is it in your throat? Is it in your chest, your stomach, your jaw? There's no wrong answer. Just notice where you're feeling it. Now imagine that part of your body softening. You don't have to force it, just offer safety to it through breath, through presence, through relaxing, through a gentle inner voice that says you don't have to shrink to stay safe. You are safe in your expansion. I'm here with you and we can hold more together. Breathe into that part of your body. No fixing, no pushing, just presence. Let your body know more is not a threat, it's an invitation. So now that we've softened the resistance, let's reinforce the expansion. So, what's one simple ritual that would help you feel safer holding more this week? It could be a breath reset before going live, a body scan after client calls, a mantra before making follow-up calls, a pause before responding in a launch, a celebration ritual after receiving a payment. Write it down. Go ahead and write those down. Write down what what you think you could do to help you see this expansion, hold it, how help you hold this expansion, right? So now complete this sentence. When I practice this ritual, I am reminding my body that blank. So whatever the answer is to that. Let that become your anchor for the week, not to control your expansion, but to support it. So place your hands back on your body. Breathe in for 4. Hold for 4. And exhale for 6. Say softly to yourself, I am allowed to hold more, and I don't have to abandon myself to do it. That's how capacity expands, not in the doing, it's in the being. So I want to give you another example that hopefully will help you to understand this. You got a balloon. I probably should have got a balloon to show this, but you got a balloon. You're blowing it up, right? And the balloon's getting really big, right? At some point, it's probably going to pop. or something's going to happen to it because it's expanded beyond its capacity, right? So you're blowing it up, you're blowing it up, it's starting to get more expanded. What can you do for that balloon to feel safe in the expansion, right? So you could like hold the edge so that the air doesn't come out and maybe massage part of the balloon, just kind of work it so that it stretches a little bit, and then it will hold more air, right? That's a little bit about what we're doing here. We're figuring out where's our limit, where's our expansion end, where we aren't capable of expanding anymore or holding it there, and what can we do to soften that so that we're more able to hold that? So I hope that makes sense. But anyway, so you've just anchored safety into your system. So now we'll bring that shift into words, reflection, and peer support so that your nervous system can start to trust this new normal. You don't have to share everything, just share what feels honest, present, or alive for you in this moment. No pressure to sound polished. This is a space for realness, not performance. So here's some questions I want you to share about. I'm going to want you to turn on your mic and share, okay? But anyway, what's one area where you've been bumping up against your capacity edge? This could be rest, visibility, receiving love, receiving money, or holding more responsibility. And then what resistance or pattern has been coming up for you when expansion happens? So, for example, shrinking or overworking or hiding or numbing or overthinking, or there's lots of things that could be coming up, right? What's one ritual, pause, or inner anchor that you're using to support safety in that expansion? Keep it simple, like a micro shift, a moment of presence, a mantra, a body check in. So go ahead and unmute and share with us what you're feeling in the group or post it in the comments. So I'm going to give you a minute. This isn't about coaching so much as it's about witnessing. It's about giving the body evidence that it's safe to be seen exactly as you are. All right. Well, okay, let's take a collective breath. You've done some deep work today, clearing space, identifying edges, and offering your body a new energetic baseline. This final part of our session is here to help you hold that shift, not through force, but through presence, right? You're invited to bring forward anything that still feels alive or sticky or uncertain. It could be a capacity edge you're noticing in real time, a fear that came up during your reset, a resistance pattern that's still clinging on to you, right? A desire that you're scared to receive fully. You don't need to know what to say, you just need to be willing to be seen in it. So Pat says, I really want to expand my team, but I'm concerned that it will take too much time and energy from me. Okay, Pat, so feel that, and feel like, what does that feel like? It's obviously a fear, right? But I just want to say, expanding your team, sure, it's going to take time and energy, but it's not like all of a sudden you're doing three times the work. You're actually spreading the work between your team members, and so you're kind of working together as a team. And maybe down the road, you might think about having to do meetings or you answering questions, and some of that's going to take time, but it's going to come slowly. It's going to come a little bit at a time. So you sign up one or two people on your team, and you help them get started, and maybe they have a question, and you answer it, and so you're expanding, but you're expanding slowly, right? It's not a all of a sudden all at once, and you're expanding slowly. And the cool thing is, again, you know where your edges are, you know where your expansion, where your ability is to hold that expansion. So that's where you make those decisions. Maybe, okay, maybe this is too much, let's back off just a little bit. You're not going to like give up on your team or walk away from them, but you're just going to maybe restructure how you help and support them, something like that, right? Or something, just knowing that you're grateful that you have a team, and just sitting in that sometimes, and just giving yourself that presence of knowing that you're growing, and that you will continue to grow. It doesn't, how fast or how slow is totally up to you.
Can I just say that I think that probably the fastest way to grow is to teach. Because when you teach, you have to know what you're saying, and you're expanding yourself. You're not stagnant anymore. You're learning, so you understand it. If I found that if I can't explain something, I really don't know it.
That's true. That's how you
Yeah,
learn.
yeah. And
But
so
she's,
teaching is a good expansion for you, and it's slow.
but she's concerned about
Yeah,
time and energy.
right.
You know, something too, Pat, and this really has nothing to do with this training, but I'm just going to tell you this. Um, we have learned in all the years we've been in business that you give the most time to the people that are performing, that are really performing on your team. They I know it's going to come across bad, and I'm sorry. I hope that you understand where I'm coming from with this. But the people that are really working on your team and that deserve your support, that's where you should be giving your support. Of course, you're going to support everybody on your team, but you do that with everybody with group coaching calls and emails and things like that rather than one-on-one time because you don't have enough time. If you grow a big business, Lisa Wilbur always told me, and I love this about what, you know, she's really she shares a lot and she's giving. But she says if you want to have a giant team of thousands of people, you need to treat it as though you have them now, even though you don't. That means putting systems into place, such as emails, an email series or a text series or something to help them get started. So then it's not coming out of your time, right? And it's scalable so that it can work with more and more and more people, and it still doesn't take more of your time. You have back when I was with Avon, I had a getting started text series I put all my new team members on. It didn't take me any more effort. If I signed up one person or 3,000, they all got the same text series. So you learn systems and you learn things like that.
Yeah.
But the key is, I think, especially as far as time and energy, that's not going to happen all at once. It's going to grow slowly and you'll keep bumping against those edges and you'll just keep pushing those edges out a little bit more, a little bit more. Like what I said about the balloon. The balloon will get bigger without popping, but you gotta not keep blowing until it just pops, right? You gotta maybe slow down, work it out, massage the balloon, let it allow it to stretch a little bit, and then put some more in. That's what you're gonna be doing with your business.
A lot of times too in teaching, I've seen this from Lynn because she's created all these different systems and things, but we all have tools in each of our businesses that you can point to that give the answers. And if your teammates are really interested in learning, you can point to that tool and they can go to that and learn. And many times, a lot of newbies in a business, they all have the same question, so it's the same answer over and over again. So
Yeah.
you can just point to the tool and help them grow.
Sort of why I started online beauty biz because
Yeah,
I was answering the same questions over and over again.
yeah.
Now I point them to the blog post, right? Yeah. So anyway, thanks for sharing with us, Pat. I appreciate you stepping up. Anyway, let's walk with this, right? You're not here to figure it all out. You're here to be with what's real. This is nervous system work. This is like your body, right? And not intellectual. This isn't thinking about what we're doing here is about capacity to grow. It's about your body being able to handle it and your mental, not intellectual, but your mindset as far as belief and that kind of a thing, right? Presence is the medicine. So presence is key to everything. It's understanding that I'm getting to an edge. What can I do to soften that edge, get more comfortable with it, and then expand it, right? So so this is like, let this be light, right? I mean, it's not really, I don't have any pressure for you guys to speak, and I know obviously you're not, so that's all right. But sometimes it's just enough to know. And again, thank you, Pat, for saying that. So it's easy to say, I want more, but it's brave to ask, how do I hold it without leaving myself behind? And that's what you practice today. And every time you do your system reminders, more is safe. Stillness is allowed, and receiving doesn't require shrinking. So let's close our time with integration and your final reflection prompt. So this week isn't about pushing to the next level. It's about learning to stay anchored in your current expansion without shrinking, rushing, or overriding your needs. This week, you're going to practice that with your homework. So the first one I want you to do is identify your capacity edge. Revisit from your journaling today. Where in your life or business are you currently feeling your edge? Is it visibility, income, rest, love, responsibility? This is a lot of times it's what's holding you back, right? What's the edge that's holding you back because you can't seem to get past it, right? And sometimes it's self-esteem, and maybe you have to recognize that. But knowing that can help you to have presence about it and find out within your own self what you can do to feel better about it, right? What you can do to get comfortable with this, with where you're at, and then you can go from there, right? So circle or highlight the one area that feels the most activated. That's going to be your focal point for the week. And then number two, choose a safety ritual to support that edge. So now pick one small repeatable practice to support your nervous system. So examples could be a grounding breath before you post or go live. If you're concerned about going live on live video, take a deep breath, ground yourself, right? That's a way you can do it, right? A body scan after a sales conversation. So now you're thinking, oh, okay, I just had this sales conversation with somebody. Where in my body do I feel tight and why? And this is going to help you to be able to move forward. It's going to help you to know next time, and each time it will be easier, right? A mantra you can use when you feel yourself rushing or overworking. A pause before reacting when someone offers support. Keep it simple. The ritual doesn't need to be impressive. It just needs to be something that your body can come back to consistently. When I practice this ritual, I remind my body that it's safe to hold more. So, and then number three, I want you to track what you're holding without collapsing. So, I'm just going to mute everybody because I'm hearing some mic feedback. If you want to say something, feel free to unmute yourself, okay? So anyway, this week I want you to simply notice, what are you carrying? What are you creating? What are you receiving? Not from pressure, but from presence. So when it feels like too much, just pause, breathe, anchor, and then remind yourself, my system is expanding and I don't have to rush or perform to stay there. Okay, so capacity isn't built by doing more. It's built by staying in the moment where you could abandon, but you chose to stay. So this is the turning point. You don't need to earn more. You don't need to chase more. You simply need to hold what's already there. This is what's going to be your new internal standard. I'm no longer afraid of expansion. I trust myself to stay with it without shrinking or rushing or over efforting. My body can hold more, and I'm here for all of it. I promise when you can get comfortable with holding what you have, then you can expand more, right? So, what's one word or phrase that captures your new relationship with expansion? Drop it in the chat or write it in your journal. Let it become your energetic anchor for the week ahead. Breathe into it and walk into your day like the woman who no longer fears her own capacity because she's no longer leaving herself behind to reach it. Does anybody have anything they want to say? Pat says, I'm glad these trainings are recorded. I need to listen to this many times.
Yeah.
I totally understand that, Pat. I agree with you. Sometimes you just have to do this more and you have to do it on your own time, and then you can take notes while you're watching the replay.
Yeah, we like to say we like to chunk it down when you break things into small bite-sized pieces so you can go through it and go through each section and slowly think it through and see if something comes up, then you can deal with it then. And then once you have that settled, move on to the next.
Yeah, and this is kind of a mindset thing. It's not, this isn't skills. This isn't, this is how you do this, step one, step two, step three.
Yeah.
This is changing what's in our core. This is changing who we are and what we believe and what we believe we're capable of. And all of us are capable of so much. And so this is helping you to understand that, to accept it, and to believe it.
Yes, earlier she mentioned that it's kind of like a thermostat, and I've always felt that that's probably the best analogy of everything is you always get comfortable. If you're always comfortable at 69 degrees, but all of a sudden you started setting the house at 72 or something, do you feel hotter? Do you feel colder? Are you just comfortable and you didn't need it at 69? It's a temperature gauge on everything we do.
But the thermostat's
Yeah, it's
automatically going to
yeah,
bring it back
it's
to
gonna, but it's
69.
yeah, and that's why you need to reset. You can say, hey, I really didn't need it at 69 degrees. I can deal with it at 72, or whatever the issue is that you're dealing
Yes,
with.
I'm going to move the
Yeah, move the
thermostat.
thermostat.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. So anyway, today we worked on building capacity to hold more. Next week we're going to talk about calibrating to overflow energy. So we'll see you next Tuesday, August 5th, same time, same place. I want to thank you guys for being here. And for those that are watching the replay, thank you. I appreciate all of you. Go out there and have an amazing week, and we'll see you next week. Bye bye.
Have a great week.